fast and slow. In fact, Daniel Kahneman won a Nobel Prize in 2002. He is he was an economist, and he got a Nobel Prize in economics, but he was also a behavioral scientist. So he did a lot of research on human behavior as well. So that is how this book actually came into being. Yeah,
Jayant, one correction.
yeah.
He's actually not an economist. He is a behavioral psychologist.
Acha, behavioral
But,
psychologist. Okay, okay,
but
okay. Thank you for
because
correcting me.
you, yeah, because you don't have a Nobel Prize for psychology. He was given the Nobel Prize in
Right, right, right.
economics.
Oh, you are right. You are right. It is mentioned as behavioral psychologist only in that book. But somehow it came into my mind that why he should get Nobel Prize in economics. But yes, while he explains about thinking fast and slow, he does some econometrics calculation, which means that he has got a strong economic background as well. So thinking fast and slow, everyone experiences, like thinking fast is something which is like, fast, intuitive, and associated thinking, where we think many things intuitively, actually, which suddenly comes to my mind, and most of the time it is correct also. Sometimes it is false also. So Daniel Kahneman actually explains that there could be error also in system one thinking, but 96% of the time we tend to think in that way only. And those errors are also because of the bias, because of superstitions, because of some prejudices as well. System two is more deliberate, just like you're preparing for compre and all those things. They're very planned way and very methodical, taking down notes and thinking everything. So it's like very slow and deliberate process. So it's about the brain is only one, but it's a figurative representation that it has since system one thinking, and system two, that is the cognitive style, how our brain functions. And and Kahneman actually advocates that if we have a right balance, because many times the system one, system two, the difference gets blurred. So how you try to adjust and balance these two will take you, because we all have a lot of potentials. But many times if we are very much self opinionated, we have some bias, which Sunil had also had discussed in the last, which unfortunately I missed. So this is what he mentions, that how we can use these system thinking approach to actually improve our lifestyle, improve our relationships, and improve our decision making abilities. So if you have any questions, please ask, actually, because this is has to be very this I generated using AI. So but it summarizes, system one and system two, because system one, you see that there is always cognitive overload. What we have to take around 35,000 decisions in a day, on an average. This is how he has calculated through some means. So many of these things, are sorted by the brain with system one thinking intuitively. Like, we the moment the morning when the bell rings, we know that there is a milkman who has arrived, or some postman has arrived. So all those things, we don't have to do much sort of efforts in that. However, in system two is a very deliberate process where we have to apply some effort also. But it is also called the lazy captain, because the system two, the brain does not get up. It is just sleeping like a kumkaran. Unless system one wants to take help from system two, then system two will wake up, and then it will do. But there also, it depends upon how you are training the brain, because system one will try to impose upon its intuitive thinking on the system two. So system two has to be trained enough to understand that, look, I have to do my own planning, I have to do my own calculations, I have to arrive based on some kind of a deductive reasoning. Whereas system one will not do any deductive reasoning. What it relies on are the observations, which it has experienced. So it is more on the experience and observations. And the problem with system one thinking, unfortunately, 96% of the time we are doing system one thinking only, on an average. the problem with system one thinking is that we start making assumptions based on the observations, based on the data. So that is called heuristics, which we learned in prob and stats. So the yeah. Uh, so if there are any questions, please interrupt me, and I'll be very happy to discuss that. So system one thinking, these they will depend upon whatever are within that finite boundary of observations. So it tends to ignore many of these data, and we never know about it, and it could lead to false assumptions. So there is where system two thinking comes in, because then, for example, when you are planning to buy a house, it is system two thinking. Initially, system one thinking, when you see that, look, this plot is good, this is where I should be investing. So that system one thinking has done its work. Then suddenly the brain switches to system two thinking. Now I have to plan, how will I generate the finances, how what will be the architecture, who I should be hiring for doing this work, and what will be the vastu and all those things, everything, whatever deep thinking are required, that is system two. So that is why, and in all these process, the brain is also tend to start doing multitasking. That is where the cognitive overload. So you start thinking that, look, if the house is there, when it will be delivered to me, what will be my state of financing, all those things. So all those cognitive overload are happening, and the brain is switching very fast between system one thinking, system two thinking. So you see that in spite of all these potential, how you are going to train. So there is a training also in cognitive and behavioral therapy, which he talks about. So that is the subject beyond this thing. So so next, if we see the distinct, what are the differences between the system one and system two? If you can see here that system one is very fast. Actually, it happens in a jiffy, and sometimes you think without even knowing. And there are some interesting examples that Daniel Kahneman takes in the course of the book. And I like those examples, because after reading those examples, only I could understand what is system one thinking, system two thinking. And it is amazing that once he gives those examples, you will start believing that, look, this is such simple things. Okay, I also know this thing, but it needed a Nobel Prize winner to write a book on this thing. And then I came to know that, oh, I could have written this book as well. So something like this, all those things keeps happening when you read the book. So system one, obviously, it is associative and pattern based. So it gives some kind of semblance to how unsupervised learning happens in artificial intelligence. Now, there is a natural intelligence process where we are doing associative and pattern matching, which is exactly the algorithm that we build to create an artificial neural network model. So something like this, and then it all happens, so fast. And unlike this, system two thinking will be slow. It will be very planned way. It depends upon, and then it will evaluate all the risks, and then it will come to us some conclusion and all those things. And then once it has done, then it again goes to sleep, because system two is considered to be a lazy thing, because it takes a lot of toll on the mind. It uses a lot of processing power in our brain. So next, after this, I would like to talk about this. This is an example, that system one and system two thinking, where he has given us something where system one will actually continuously scanning the environment. So those people who are very observant, they will naturally develop a good intuitive thinking. But that doesn't mean that that intuitive thinking might be correct, because there is a huge chances of error also, because it depends upon a lot of other things, like his lifestyle, how he was treated that day by his peers and his in the house, and what is his mood, what is state of mind. All those things are there, which gets impacted, and as a result, it can actually sort of affect the quality of his thinking process. But some people, who are very calm, composed, uh, um, and come out of meditation, and they are very relaxed, And they have a more practical approach to life. They will do intuitive thinking and they'll come out to be correct. There have been many cases, as I will give you the example of the West Coast forest fire. There was a person, who used to predict whenever there used to be a forest fire. But it's very common because on the Pacific coast, and these and this person used to intuitively tell and simply call up 911 and say that, look, there is going to be a fire, you do something about it. And he used to also tell the exact how at how much distance the fire is originated. So they will do this satellite surveillance, obviously, and then they'll find out, and at some point of time when some person will go and see that there is actually a fire. So this intuitive, he was also not aware why this he could predict, I mean, so accurately, time and again. So and the police said that, I do not know. They also sometimes started having suspicion that is he the person behind the fire. But the actual thing, as you might have guessed also, is that he had got a very good sense of smell. So whenever the wind was blowing from that direction, he could actually smell the fire, in fact, of the wood which is burning. And that was what told his mind, and he was also not aware of it. He just saying that this fire, I don't know. But actually, this is how this cognitive thinking was used for intuitively know that there is a fire. So in system 2, I hope you are able to see the my slides. So in system 2 thinking is like the research scientists, who are doing this lab experiments and creating various materials. Is this slide visible to you all?
Yes, yes, it's
Okay,
fine.
okay.
Yes,
So,
yes.
so system two thinking, you must have guessed it. Research scientists, they do lot of research work, and they have to see, different combinations of different materials to create a new crystal in the lab, or some different nanomaterials, something. All those things will require a lot of mathematical calculations as well, proportions and electronic balances, and then taking advice from the seniors and getting all these validated, doing some arithmetic calculations, so all those things, and then simulation as well. So those are typically the research scientists. But at the same time, it is not that they are not doing system one thinking also. Intuitive thinking is also very important, that we have learned in school. There was a chemist, great scientist, Kekule, who discovered the benzene ring. And it is anecdotal evidence or something, or maybe it is true, but it is said that this is he dreamed of that structure of that aromatic cyclic compound, which he discovered, and then he suddenly next day he again started. So what started with a system one thinking to actually find the structure of the benzene ring, and then validating it required system two thinking. So you have to switch between system one thinking to system two thinking, and the boundary line gets blurred also, and it is a good thing that system one and system two. But the only thing is that there are a lot of people, like when we are young and teenagers and all, we are very impatient. We are very so we every time we are doing intuitive thinking, and in a rush we take some decision, and it could lead to some kind of a problem for us. Like when we started learning the two-wheeler for the first time, and we were thinking that, okay, we are now expert, and we get into accidents and all. So when you are a balanced individual, when you train yourself in a way, then when the system one has to be tested by system two, and the system two will take over. And then suddenly system two will get fatigued, because it requires a lot of these brain overheads. Then you go back to system one, and then try to find out some intuitive reasoning behind it. So this is how it happens. And in fact, this is one example where Kikule actually discovered the benzene ring structure, that it was intuitive thinking, and it proved out to be right when he validated in the labs. So this is the one. And then what I mean to say is that even though 96% of the time you are doing system one thinking, and then 4% of the time you are system two, and this figure is coming from Daniel Kahneman, based on some research. I don't know he has mentioned a lot of things in the books about this also. And one of the example is, the when we were in bits in 1970, somewhere around, Boris Spassky and Bobby Fischer were very popular, right? So we used to hear about all their chess matches and all. And you will be very surprised to know that when these two stalwarts used to play, um, some of the moves they used to play very fast, and all these chess games are televised. So, and there are a lot of these experts who are reporting for the newspapers also, who have to give a live commentary, and they have to explain to the audience who are watching that on television, right? Or so, so they were not knowing how he's playing. I mean, so that is something of system one thinking, where they know that the other person, because they are able to think of 4 or 5 moves ahead, and they are also intuitively knowing that if I play this move, the other person will play that move. And that's how these two chess grandmasters, Boris Spassky and Bobby Fischer, used to play. And right now this has come into another form of Blitz Krieg chess, which was one one by Vishwanathan Anand, and then by Pragyanand also. So, and Gukesh also, all those things do chess, play chess very fast. So it's like they play system one thinking intuitively, but at some point of time during the middle game or end game, they switch over to system two also. So it is both they are switching system one and system two. They are never, but at any given point of time, there is only one system one which they are thinking, or then subsequently switching over to system two. So that is how with I also related with the husband and wife example. So what happens is that the husband in the morning he prepares a tea for his wife and also chops some vegetables and all those things. So so that he's that is system two thinking of the husband. Now now wife is thinking system one. System one, oh, acha, where are you going for the party today? I mean, she has immediately related that husband is trying to please her, and so that means he's going for a party, and that's why he's trying to do all these things, doing some extra help, chopping vegetables and all those things. So, so then the husband is very surprised. How did she know that I'm going to have a party or something like this? She's bang on target, and she has read my emotions, and she knows that I'm going to go to the party. Then suddenly the wife says then she starts thinking about uh, from the perspective of system two. So she says that okay, who all are is in fact very good if you have to save a life also. Because see, the thing is that I used to do a lot of trekking also in Uttarakhand and Himachal Pradesh. So there was one person, who used to figure out in that trail route, that look, you don't go in that route because there could be bears and they could attack. And and it turned out to be true also, because next day we could see that, look, these are the trails which are dangerous. Some leopards are also there and all those things. So the thing is that it was because of his observation, because he has been living in that for quite a long time, and he used to spot some pug marks, and maybe some dung also. Maybe some kind of noises, all, and his ears was trained in that way, that he used to realize that, look, there is a danger lurking behind the bush. It could be a leopard, or it could be some bears. So he, since it came as a childhood observations, it was so internalized that he sometimes he observed, but and he used to immediately say that, look, this is a dangerous path. Let us not follow that trait. So this is something which comes from system one thinking, and at some point of time, he also doesn't know how he is able to make the right observations, and he is giving the correct decisions. So these are some of the important aspects. And then Daniel Kahneman, they are the key takeaways. There are many more takeaways, but so far I have studied and understood that these are the key takeaways, and you can read them here, and then we will be open to discussions also. Fast, automatic, subconscious, associative, system one. System two is slow, deliberate, analytic, effortful. And then approximately 96% of decisions are handled by system one. I could not figure out how he arrived at 96%, but he might have definitely done some kind of studies or something like this, which I am unaware of. I did not see anywhere in the book. um, uh, and then system one, informal mental shortcuts. Lot of times we do it, system one and all those things. So when you can, when you start learning the first time, your two wheeler and all those things, you remember that first time, you intuitively, by seeing your father drive the scooter the way you also started, and then something was taught to you, and then you said, look, I can do it myself, and then you do. So some system one thinking there. But when you are actually on the road, then you have to be careful. Then again, system two thinking, where you have to ensure that. And sometimes once you learn it very well, you will see that, you drive the car, and you automatically, whenever there is a hurdle, you will apply the brakes and accelerator and clutch, everything, all controls. Of course, they are automatic cars now, but a lot of these road sense will come to you very intuitively. So I will show a small video, only 3 minutes video, which will explain very clearly about system one and system two thinking, and how it is applied in the practical life. So, and last but not the least, that the s- the actually system two, the system one always seeks support of system two, actually. So but you have to train the brain. Sometimes you are overconfident. You always think that your hunch is right. So that is also one of the perils of you relying too much of system one. So if you are taking major decisions in life, then it is always system two is better. When you're going to, for example, um, when you fall in love with a girl, there only system one thinking is there. Intuitively, you think that, look, she is the best girl of my life, and you have to marry. So, but the thing is that if you also have to account for system two thinking also, to know, okay, how my life is going to be, what are her aspirations, what are your aspirations, what are going to be our, where are we going to settle. So those kind of things are there. So it is always system one and system two, you have to work together. And then last but not the least, I'm going to show you this video, which will 3 minutes video only, and then we come to an end. Are you able to hear the voice?
No.
Oh, okay, okay. Okay, I don't know. Uh, you're able to hear my voice, right?
Yes.
Okay, so I
Yes, yes. Now we can hear this also. No sound.
हाँ.
साउंड नहीं है.
ओ साउंड नहीं है. ओके ओके ओके.
Eh,
Anyway,
Anyway, it's okay.
I do not know. Uh,
Mm.
I do not know where to how to sort this out. Hmm?
Yeah, yeah.
I'll send you the link. You can see. So this is all about what I wanted to present
Mm,
before
mm,
you.
mm.
So any questions I
So, yeah.
picture.
Jayant, I had a question. Yeah.
हाँ,
So good. I mean, I understand clearly the system one, system two, what it is, the difference
hmm.
and how it works. But that is clearly understood. But are there any tips in the book or suggestions on how we think correctly and avoid any decision making mistakes, right? And I mean, what are the steps to that? How do I improve my thinking process? Maybe I feel that there is more of system one in me and maybe less of system two or whatever. Uh, but are there any tips on how to improve the decision making process like that?
There are some tips which are given actually. The thing is he talks about training your mind. There are some he also talks about because Daryl Kahneman himself took a lot of these behavioral psychology classes in which he used to conduct different games and also some in which group games in which he used to give some tasks and then they used to analyze. So basically, it's about training, but some of them you learn at home, in school, in your friends, in college, and some of the things you have to acquire at some point of life. So it is a different sort of a level of ability of different people, how soon they can grasp this thing. So that's why some people are more successful, some people are less. Not that they have got less potential. So the things he says that whenever you are doing system one thinking, that is a very good thing also. But there are certain things in life where you know that you have to start doing the testing as well. So where you need to go deeper into it. Like I gave you an example of buying a house or things like that. So a few instances have been given, but he mentions that these mind training exercises are also very important. So that's why people go who have got issues with some people are very hyperactive, so they have to go to behavioral therapists. So it is not a bad thing. I mean, actually, somebody thinks that they only because it is something which is very psychological, Ganesh.
See, I read a book called Power of Subconscious Mind by
Hmm.
Joseph Murphy.
Uh,
Exactly the same thing. What system one you're talking about is the subconscious mind, and system two is the conscious mind.
hmm.
It is exactly, just putting it in a system one, system two versus subconscious and conscious. And he also explains exactly the way you said that one
Hmm.
has to train his mind and start giving some time to actions. That was
Hmm.
his mantra. That you have to train yourself not to react immediately. If you don't react immediately, a part of decisions of conscious mind will take the decisions.
Uh,
The more you continue to do on intuition and just like that, then the subconscious mind or system one will become heavy again and more and more and more. That is what.
Yeah, right. So you are correct because he also mentions that in a given situation, many times we react where we need to respond. We don't need to react.
Exactly.
So that is something where we have to train ourselves. It comes with maturity. It comes with experience also. So as you grow up and you gather more experiences and then you understand the nuances of social relationships, then over the period of time you cultivate that kind of a thing where for example, you will also realize that over the period of time as we have grown and we have seen all the ups and downs of life, we are now able to take more mature decisions. We are also seeking advice from from people who know better than us. So those kind of things. Whereas when we were teenagers, we used to do it everything on our own and think that everything whatever we are doing is correct. So that kind of definitely that Talwar, you have made a right point here, that we need to respond to a situation, not react to a situation.
Yeah,
Yeah.
please raise this hand. Yeah.
Yeah, I got a sense in the previous question that uh, there was an implicit assumption that system 2 is better than system 1.
Actually, I have not made this a statement. Actually,
No, no, you're
system
not
two.
making that statement. You're
Huh,
not making that statement. But
huh,
so the moment we say that you have to train yourself to think and etc.,
hmm.
make it more conscious and so on, it sounds as if it is better to be operating on system 2 rather than system 1.
Yeah,
I
but
just want to.
that
Uh,
is, in fact, Daryl Kahneman makes it very clear that is not always true, because
Correct.
Yeah,
many times you have to take a decision right at that moment.
No,
exactly.
For
it is
example,
Emergency,
it is
yeah,
not just the fact that
emergency
many a times you
situation.
need to allow speed
yeah,
to
yeah.
take over. It
Hmm,
is also that the conscious brain
hmm.
is the most intensive energy consumer in the body.
Yes, yes,
Okay. So the brain is, and I'm probably borrowing something from what I'm going to be speaking around in our next session on change.
yeah,
Therefore, the brain is consciously trying to derive patterns, identify patterns, and once a pattern is recognized, push it into the subconscious. So that next time when that pattern emerges, the conscious brain is not spending energy trying to
yeah.
figure what it is.
True, true, very
Okay.
true.
So,
Exactly, exactly.
so
Yeah.
this is part of our evolution. The
Yes,
brain
yes.
has evolved to put more and more stuff into the subconscious so that
Subconscious.
you don't spend conscious, high energy consuming, what is called the prefrontal cortex effort in
Right,
order to
right.
live life.
Yeah,
Now,
yeah.
I don't know whether 96 is right or 96 is wrong, but given this preference for the brain to push more and more into the subconscious, it sounds that the subconscious will be doing most of the uh, heavy lifting in terms of sheer proportion of work.
Mhm.
That's
Yeah.
true. That's true.
And Jayant, your example of riding the scooter was bang on. While
Yeah.
I don't have a example for riding a scooter, but I have the example of driving my car first time around. No, from
Mhm.
day one I've had a driver because driving in Bombay even 30 years ago was a nightmare. One day,
Yeah. Mm.
my driver, early in the sort of tenure of him being around, he decided to take off, and I had no choice but to drive myself. Right, those days you didn't have these apps like Drive You, etc., etc.
Mhm.
I remember it was winter. Not that winter in Bombay is great, but winter, AC full on from Thane to
Mhm.
Tough Parade. By
Oh,
the time
it's
I
a long
reached,
distance. Mm.
yeah, by the time I reached my office, I was completely drenched in sweat.
Mhm.
Okay, and that was the first memorable occasion when I drove and I was conscious about gear change, accelerator, brake, looking at the mirrors, doing all those consciously. And that's
Right, right,
intense load.
right, right. Yeah,
Off
yeah,
late,
of course.
off late,
Mm.
not recently, but maybe few years ago or even now I drive. But many a times when I'm driving, I'm on autopilot. Given
Yeah,
that I
right.
haven't had any accident and I haven't had any policemen chasing me, I'm presuming that
Mm.
I've driven as per the rules.
Yeah, yeah,
But I'm not even conscious of driving.
right.
Okay, now that is risky.
Yeah.
And that is
So,
where you
yeah.
need to train your mind. No, typically,
Mm.
and I can take it in the business context. In
Mm.
business context, also as leaders, we use our gut, the intuition, which is system and thinking.
Mm.
So
Right,
there
right.
are tips saying that if the possibility of the outcome
Mm.
is severe, it's a high stakes case.
Mm. Right.
If it is irreversible, if the decision that you take
Yes.
is irreversible, if there are a lot of unknown factors. Though some things, some patterns fit, but there's a lot of things that don't fit. Those are the times when you have to go to system two thinking. That's
Yeah, yeah,
where
yeah,
training
yeah.
comes in.
You're right. You're right. And there is one another example also given in the book. In fact, I found out they were talking about, when even if there are two pilots, in the cockpit, one is the co-pilot, one is the leader pilot. So they are both flying, and when the aircraft is on autopilot, they are just relaxing. But at some point of time, immediately, the leader pilot will start take control himself, and he will uh, go from autopilot mode to actually he will be steering. He's doing this. So intuitively, he realized that maybe some air pockets or something. After seeing all those different instruments and the readings and all those things, though he didn't have time, it was all done in a very jiffy, where he saw all these configuration of the different displays that were coming, and suddenly he took it. So after that, the other pilot, the co-pilot, who was much junior to him, he asked, "Why did you take control?" So they say, I don't realize, but then you didn't notice after I took control and I steered, you could see some air turbulence, right? So those air turbulence, yes, but they were very mild, because I noticed that if it had continued on autopilot, the way the things, the configuration and all, somehow it struck to my mind, we could have been in trouble actually, and we could have we had to take it on manual mode ourselves. So these are some of the things where first the intuitive thinking, he realized that there could be some turbulence and he has to switch up from autopilot to, and he has to steer. And then once he took the controls, then he was on system two thinking, because then he has to make sure that he's um, uh, seeing all these readings of the airflow, and also the what is the tail wing pressure, and also headwind, and all those the and accordingly steer the aircraft. So this is definitely something where he has to fall back on the system too, at once his intuitive reasoning has actually delivered, and it is actually the system one thinking which is taking the help support of the system two. And it is not that others, reverse is also true. The system two also takes, because as you have rightly said, it becomes very overloaded very fast, because it has to process so many information, and it does it in a slow and deliberate process. So the brain gets tired. So at some point of time, it will again start doing system one thinking. So that kind of a balance is there. Regarding 96%, how he has arrived, I didn't find it anywhere in the book, but I think he has done a lot of research and all those things. Maybe through some reasoning, he might have come to the conclusion that 96% of the time we are doing system one thinking. Because if we do more and more of system two thinking, that at some point of time like for example, overthinking also doesn't deliver. That is what he has also mentioned in the book. So you definitely you think to the extent which is needed, and which is needed to ensure that you are taking the right decisions. But overthinking also makes you fatigued. So that is also something which has to be taken care of. Oh, hi Nitin.
Oh yeah, hey, thanks, Jen. Great job, by the way. So I have a couple of questions, but one question was, is that ratio of 96 to 4 pretty consistent across the population, or has he found that like really smart people, let's say Einstein, would they have at like 20% system two? Does that kind of vary quite a bit? Is there a connection between like level of education, training, IQ, and level of system two?
So what he has mentioned, Nitin, in the book, is that he has come to this conclusion about 96% and 4% is based on some lot of research that he has conducted. Because he used to be a behavioral psychologist, so in the class also he used to take and do a lot of these surveys and questionnaires, and some kind of programmatic those initiatives by which he has come across these conclusions. So everywhere in the book he has consistently mentioned. So we have to accept that. And regarding the IQ levels and all those things, basically, see, the thing is that as far as the structure of the brain is essentially it is the same, and we are only talking about this cognitive approach where we are trying to figuratively isolate it into system one and system two, and talking about all these percentages and all those things. But since this is an average, it could be somehow somewhat more or less. But if you coming to Einstein, and then as I have given an example of Kukele, who invented, who actually discovered the benzene ring structure, that was system one thinking, because he himself said that it just came into my mind, and then
Mm-hmm.
because nobody knew about this thing. So definitely, like Einstein, or he might have see if you exert what he has, Kahneman says that if you use more and more of system four thinking, your brain will get tired very fast. You will get mentally fatigued. So that's why, it's good that you're doing system one thinking, but only in some life threatening situation it is always good, because with, if you sense any danger, you have to run away, and immediately you intuitive thinking
Mm-hmm.
tells you, and those kind of things. But system four thinking, system two thinking has its own advantage, and depending upon, I still do not know how very um, mentally accomplished persons like Einstein would have done. Maybe they can use more of their system two thinking without getting their brain fatigued. Because I have read the autobiography of Newton, Isaac Newton, where he used to work very hard. So he was one person. Maybe he could be using more of system two thinking, because the kind of laws he came out, all the, which with physics, it still applies today also. So it is very difficult to actually to say who is the what is his percentage of system one and system two ratio. This is very difficult to say.
Yeah, no, that's great. Thanks.
Hi, Jayant.
Yeah.
Uh, just taking off from what some of the others have mentioned, um, I have a slightly different opinion. I believe a lot of the discoveries were actually and concepts and theories, even things like structure of the atom and so on and so forth. The ideas came in first, and the mathematics was later, used to prove some of these. So I'm not sure whether scientists would generally have more, I think they are equally intuitive as well as possibly logically oriented. Uh,
So you're correct actually. Yeah, that would be. However, it's once they see, whenever you get a flash of an idea, it is again system one thinking, and you get, okay, let's do some research on this thing. Or there's another anecdotal story about Newton. He saw apple falling to the ground, and he discovered gravitation. Though this can be apocryphal also, but the and the fact here is that that idea flashed into his mind, and then he started working through his system two thinking, and then subsequently derived all those formula of connecting the force and the gravitation and the mass and the distance between two objects attracting each other. So that's the system two. But definitely, initially, I will tell you, like you are an artist yourself, so all these great works of art also has come from something like some flash of intuitive thinking, that look, I have to create this thing, right? And once you have thought of this thing, then you start painting the canvas. Then you start applying the mind, which color has to be used, in what proportion it has to be used. Should I also put this picture of one house or one river or stream or some animals or these kind of things? Then a system two will take over. But initially, all these great works of creativity comes from system one thinking, mind you. So that is why, and you also, naturally, human brain are actually designed to start approaching any problem starting with system one. You start with system one. I gave you an example where a lot of system two thinking is required when you're buying a house. But initially, the first flash of this thing that this I have to take the house in this location. Suddenly, it is intuitive thinking where it comes to our mind. No, I have to buy a house at this location only. So this is how it works. Yeah, yeah.
No, I think it is naive to believe System 1 comes out of thin air. It doesn't. System 1 is built through patterns.
Hmm.
Patterns that
Yeah,
your conscious
yeah,
mind
yeah.
has not recognized, but your
Hmm.
subconscious mind has
Hmm.
recognized and filed away.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
whether it be Newton, Einstein, Archimedes, whoever,
Hmm.
it was not just a flash of brilliance that came.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
subconscious was obviously working on that problem.
Hmm.
And something in the immediate reality, for example, the
Hmm.
apple or the water in the bathtub, etc.,
Hmm.
etc.,
Yeah, yeah.
clicked. And that's how the solution came.
Yes.
Then
Right,
system
right.
2 must have taken over to figure out the arithmetic behind it.
Right, right. You're right. Actually,
So
that's
the
um,
Yeah.
system 1,
huh.
and this is my understanding based on, again, as I said, a different
True,
subject.
true. Actually, system one, definitely there has to be some basis also, and that comes from the subconscious mind, because there are certain things like I told you, the person who was able to predict the wildfire across the Pacific
So,
coast.
so again, so there is reasoning behind that.
Yes,
If
yeah,
you
there is
look
a
at
reasoning.
the
Yeah.
Yeah, if you look at the neuroscience underlying that,
Mm,
it is pattern recognition.
mm. It,
He is
yeah.
able to assess many more patterns than the laymen are able to.
Right. Right.
Okay, and then he is, through his history of having seen whatever wildfires, could be earthquakes, could be whatever, he is able to conclude that there is a high probability of a fire or an earthquake or storm or
Mm,
whatever.
yeah.
That's my understanding, of course.
No, no.
Uh, I
You
defer
are
to
right.
Kahneman's
You
view.
are right. Actually. Yeah, you're right. And but what Daniel Kahneman also says the same thing. He says that, but you don't have to put extra effort for that thinking. That's which comes from your subconscious. From your subconscious mind, because the thing is that you have experienced so many of such observations that you are able to correctly predict that, look, this trail is dangerous, because his mind has registered certain things along that trail, like the pug marks of the leopards, or something like the wildfire thing, he has smelled, and that has led him to actually predict that there is a fire which is there across that some distance away. So those kind of things definitely from the subconscious mind, but it has taken very less time actually to and even the person who is doing this analysis through the subconscious mind, the intuitive thinking, he's also very surprised to know how he could predict so well, which have also happened to all of us at some point of time when we have taken the right decision. So we sometimes don't even know that what are the things which had registered in our mind, and what did we see that we took the right decision. So I will tell you one another example which he has taken, of some of these criminal investigators. So those sleuths are there, they will investigate the scene of the crime. The first thing, they will do some kind of an intuitive reasoning, and then they will start doing the system to thinking on those lines. But that flash, again, it will appear from that thing, where they will study the scene of the crime, and based on their long experience, they will see something, some stain, some spots, and some furniture upside down, or something not kept in the right way, and those things are giving them some kind of intuitive thinking. They have not spent so much time thinking, but they still know that, okay, this should be the line of investigation. Once they have chosen that line, they are doing system two thinking, because they have to start questioning so many witnesses and so many other persons to find out who is the actual culprit. Because if somebody has to be punished, sentenced, then they have to be very sure that they are going on the right track.
Hey guys, excellent conversation. So, as you were talking about this, Jayant, I was just thinking, did the book talk about age as a function of the amount of system one thinking versus system two thinking? So let me tell you why I say this. I'm just thinking, when we were young, a lot of it was system one thinking, as you said about the bike and all that stuff, right? And then as we went through middle age and stuff like that, we probably did a lot more system two thinking. Now, uh, as I'm aging, a lot of the stuff, a lot of the activities that we have to do, I rely on system one thinking. Actually, basically, uh, yeah, intuitively do certain things. Where it comes down to a tough problem, like for example, something that matters a lot to you, that time you gravitate towards system two. So, did the book talk about anything, any behavioral stuff like this, as a human
Yes,
goes
yes,
through
yeah.
its their life? I'm just wondering.
So the book did talk about that, with experience and maturity, though not necessarily focusing on the age factor, because some people become mature and worldly wise earlier on also. And it all depends upon, he talks about the environment, he talks about the friends and the family members who are around whom you have grown, and you have seen the world, and what has been your training and all those things, and how early you have matured, what are your life experience. So it all depends upon the life experiences. But age, yes, with age a certain amount of maturity comes, and you are correct that we have gathered so much of maturity. We are all over 60, and that that any problem we see, we have seen some kind of our subconscious mind is able to relate something which has happened, and we had approached that problem in a certain way and solved that problem, right? But we don't remember exactly what problem we had encountered at that point of time, but it is in the subconscious, and we are doing the right thing. So
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 then
you are,
it is more about energy and speed. See, as we age, our energy and speed is reducing, right?
yes, yes,
Speed to think, the energy to do things. So that's why I was thinking,
mm,
system one is where we were.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, you do that. That's just the thinking,
yeah,
Jan. But
yeah.
yeah,
No,
I
no,
get your point.
that's correct actually, because if you read the book also, and there are some, I think some YouTube video. I have not seen that YouTube video, but Daniel Kahneman, where he talks about the same things that you have mentioned, and actually, uh, so sometimes where some kind of some people also take some kind of a behavioral training also for this thing, because if they see that, look, they're still taking a lot of rash decisions. But some people mature with age and they do a lot of system one thinking. But in your case, in our case, most of the we have led a good life, so and we have experience, so we know that, look, if we are if we don't follow certain rules, so we have all those thumb rules which we have, it has gone into our subconscious mind. So we know that, okay, if we are following this path, then we will not get hurt or injured, or will not face any accidents or something like this. So these are definitely some there. You're right.
Thanks, Jan. Thank you so much.
Mm. Mhm. Ah, mm, mhm, mm, yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Mhm, mhm. Right, right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. True. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, true. I think, yeah. Yeah, I think you have a point actually, Sunil, because see, there are many things which can impact your the efficiency of your system on thinking, and one is the guilt conscience. So if you have a guilty conscience, then definitely your ability will also get affected. So the thing is that I made this point earlier that if you have to be better in intuitive thinking, first you need to have all this information together, and but it will process very fast because you have got experience. And uh, um, and uh, and another thing is that it should be free of prejudice, otherwise there are margin of error also. So if somebody is guilty conscious, as you have talked about all these different panch kosha, where you have this already have this guilty conscious where you have got this greed, anger, lust, whatever, then definitely it will affect your intuitive thinking as well, and their chances of error will be more. Wonderful. Thanks for giving this example from the Indian scriptures, Hans.
Nice. It was very nice.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Great.
lovely, Jan. That was um, very nice
Thank you.
Yeah,
and
awesome,
to point.
awesome, John. Good thinking. Yeah, this is a good topic.
Thank you, Bandy.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Murli.
thanks,
Thanks.
thanks,
Thank you,
Thank
Jan.
you.
Ganesh.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
good
thanks.
job, Jen.
Thank you,
Thanks,
everyone.
guys.
Thank you, Nitin.
Look
Bye. Bye. Bye.
forward to
Bye,
speaking
Ganesh.
again. Bye.